Well, hello there, my beautiful movie peeps. I appreciate you clicking on this episode of Side Flick. Got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Some of the stuff we're going to be diving into here today is, turns out this past week was a bunch of announcements for a lot of studios. I'm going to be going through some of the announcements made from Amazon. There was also announcements made from Warner Brothers, and Disney had a little bit of announcements to also make. We'll mainly be focusing on that, but there's a bunch of other little movie news scattered throughout here. There's going to be timestamps in the description. You guys know the drill around here. Apologies for being gone the past few days with the move happening. It's just been so hectic. Sorry if videos are scarce, but just to keep you guys updated, won't be moving into the new upgraded studio till about the first week of June. I know some of you guys keep asking me, and hey man, as long as my pretty face is on the screen, that should be all that matters. But either way, thank you guys for still watching the content. Let's get into it. All right, starting things off here, we hadn't done this in a while, where we pick a random movie news story for maybe a movie no one's really talking about or has even heard of, but to me, it sounds interesting. We got the announcement for a new horror movie titled The Squirrel that is going to be starring Ella Purnell. She most recently blew up from being part of the Fallout series, which is another reason I wanted to bring up this movie news stories. I finally got around to watching Fallout, and well, I loved it. Never played the video games, didn't know anything about the world. I was like shocked how much I ended up loving that show and being so invested into the world. So I know you guys were asking me, I'm probably way late on that, but yeah, I loved Fallout. But back to this movie starring her, this is the plot. It says here, the film follows a park attendant who must use her unique set of skills to survive a band of killer squirrels. Horror movie, killer squirrels, beautiful actress. Give me 10 tickets, please. This could obviously go horribly wrong and be such a stupid movie, but there's sometimes movies where the premise is just that dumb fun, I want to check it out. I've also kind of always been iffy on squirrels. From a distance, I think they're fun, cute, and cuddly, but the minute a squirrel gets within 2 feet of me, I want it dead. I don't want it near me. I have such an urge to like grab their tail though and squish it, but I feel like it's made out of porcupine and it'll hurt me. But either way, this idea of a woman who's just a park attendant, going about her everyday life, group of squirrels trying to kill her and she has to survive? Yeah. Let's see if that's entertaining for an hour and a half. You guys hear the plot for this horror movie called The Squirrel. Are you interested at all? Moving on from there, before we get on some of the announcements, Warner Brothers did reveal 2 release dates for upcoming movies that I found kind of interesting. For one, they confirmed to us that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, will be releasing June 26, 2026. So this will be released a year after the new Superman movie and the DC Universe is full throttle. I am now actually genuinely excited for this Supergirl movie. I could care less when it was first announced, but since James Gunn pointed us in the direction of the source material and I went out to buy it and read it, I'm actually curious to see how they adapt this. But I guess also more curious how the general audiences will adapt to it, because I mean, The Marvels, which was a very female-centric superhero movie, was one of the worst performing Marvel movies ever. This is why so much is riding on just that Superman movie alone, because that needs to be amazing, blow people's minds so that we could have some pour over hype for general audiences wanting to see Supergirl. But we'll see on that. The other movie that got a release date that we hadn't talked about in a while, Mortal Kombat 2. It got revealed that they have chosen an October 2025 release date, and that's honestly a little surprising. I thought maybe we would get Mortal Kombat 2 released this year. And the reason I just say that is because the movie is finished wrapping, and I felt like there's enough time for them to get this movie ready to be released. But maybe that's not the case, and there are also a lot of competition towards the end of the year, so it just didn't seem plausible for them. I did see one insider that used to give us a lot of movie information say this, Mortal Kombat 2 just had a test screening. I hope a date this far out isn't because it needs a huge amount of work, which was kind of my worry when I saw the release date. If this thing is basically ready and they've already had a test screening, pushing it out almost an entire year and a half, feels like there's a lot of behind the scene work that needs to be done, whether it's reshoot or changing stuff up. I know there's a lot of fans that were divided on that first Mortal Kombat movie. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. I feel like the second movie has the potential to be a lot better, and the fact that it'll actually revolve around a tournament this time. But you know, we'll wait and see. This also means we're gonna have to wait a long time before we see new Mortal Kombat 2 stuff. We probably won't get any looks of this movie until next year. But you guys see this release date for Mortal Kombat 2. What do you make of it? Another movie news story that caught my interest before we get into some of these announcements is it got revealed that we're going to be getting another John Wick spin-off. This time it'll be focusing on Donnie Yen's character of Kane. If you've seen the most recent John Wick movie, you know this is is one of the most badass characters of the movie that also had a lot of intrigue surrounding him and his history. They're so set on this spin-off that they're going to begin filming it in Hong Kong next year. I feel like the John Wick universe is definitely one of those rich, awesome worlds, but so far they have just not been able to prove themselves that it's worthy of like a cinematic universe with spin-offs and whatnot, because I heard the Continental show was not all that great. The Ballerina had a ton of reshoots. The footage they showed at CinemaCon really impressed people, and it could end up being good, but we haven't seen it yet to know whether it is. To me, this is kind of like the first project out of the John Wick spin-off I'd actually be very curious in. And you know, I believe Kane was also one of the post-credit scenes of John Wick. So I don't know if this is going to be a prequel or more of a sequel continuing on that story. It could be both. But yeah, I'm all up for this. I feel like this could maybe expand the universe. I'm still looking forward to Ballerina, but until I see that or even this, I just don't know how much these John Wick spin-offs are worth attempting. How are you guys feeling about this? But now moving on to some of the announcements made by Amazon, Warner Brothers, and Disney. So this past week, each one of these studios had a presentation where they just kind of revealed some of the stuff coming to their streaming services. And a lot of these announcements did pertain to movie news. I'm gonna start off here with Amazon because they were the first ones to go this week, and they actually revealed what I thought was some pretty cool stuff. I'm not gonna give an update to every single streaming show on here, just kind of the ones that more interest me or that relate to the movies we talk about. Like starting off here, they did confirm Roadhouse, which just came out with Jake Gyllenhaal, and Conor McGregor is going to be getting a sequel. Roadhouse is apparently one of the most popular movies that's ever been released on Amazon, and when movies like that happen, they of course want another film made. But there's also some question up in the air, because while Jake Gyllenhaal is for sure going to be returning as Dalton, no idea yet if director Doug Liman is also coming back. And you have to remember, Doug Liman is kind of pissed at Amazon because he felt he was promised that his movie would be released in theaters, but it got a straight to streaming release. This is where he then had a very public feud with Amazon, was so upset with them. I don't know if he's going to be returning as director. And you know, that movie wasn't like amazing, but man, did I have a lot of fun with it. It was so entertaining, and a lot of that was because of Doug Liman's directing. If he doesn't come back for the sequel, I don't know how excited I would be for it. Also, bring back Conor McGregor. The dude was an absolute maniacal, fun maniac on screen. You need to have him come back and give him a lot more screen time. I'm actually curious about this Roadhouse sequel. Two big updates that I was really invested in is one, the announcement of a show called Noir, which is finally the official confirmation that they will be making a live-action Spider-Man Noir series that will star Nicolas Cage, who was the voice of Spider-Man Noir in the Spider-Verse movies. Now, there's a bit of confusion going on online about this, though, since the word Spider-Man isn't in the title, and based on the plot, it doesn't seem like this is going to be very much following a traditional comic story, where it's being described as the story of an aging and down-on-his-luck private investigator in 1930s New York, who is forced to grapple with his past life as the city's one and only superhero. It's for sure being set up in a weird way, but that could be with some legal issues. I hear Spider-Man TV rights are a little iffy, so maybe this was the only way they could go about it without actually putting Spider-Man in the title, or even have Peter Parker as the variant character Nicolas Cage will be playing. But if it captures the vibe and tone of what those Spider-Man Noir comics look like brought into live action, dude, this has the potential to be amazing. And then the final announcement that actually got me interested from Amazon was them revealing they are moving forward with a live-action Tomb Raider series. Phoebe Waller-Bridge will be writing and executive producing, but it's said that she's not going to be starring as Lara Croft. And you know, with the way I absolutely hated her character in the newest Indiana Jones movie, I'm fine with that. But it looks like Amazon is really wanting to focus in on some video game properties and bring them to life with the success they had with Fallout. Tomb Raider is one of those properties where it seems like they just haven't had a good grip on it. I like the recent Alicia Vikander version, but maybe now they could do something better. And even just looking at Fallout, I was amazed at the movie quality that show looked. And that's just the standard we are held to now with streaming service shows. They look up to movie standards. So there's a real chance this Tomb Raider thing could look better than anything we've seen in the past from it. And I'm really excited to see what they do with that. So that was kind of the Amazon announcements. And then the next day we had Disney. Disney did their upfront presentation, and honestly, there wasn't much going around. I feel like Amazon won it early in the week with these announcements, because really like the only big thing outside of the Marvel talk was their first look at the upcoming upcoming Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. This is where we got our first look of the family. Look, I grew up watching Wizards of Waverly Place. I actually really enjoyed that show, but I have no interest to see this follow-up series. Maybe if I had kids, I'd sit down and watch it with them and relive a little magic, but there's that for you if you're into it. But really, the biggest highlight was some updates on MCU shows. Notably, there was no update on Spider-Man Freshman Year, or that they've now retitled Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. You would think with their really big success of X-Men 97 and how well that's been going, they would want to use some of that animated hype to showcase the show, but no, it's been pure silence on that thing for years. It's gotten to the point more people are demanding a Spider-Man revival series of the 90s show than even wanting to look at this new one, but whatever the case, they gave us an update, an official final title for the Agatha show. If you've been online, you've been seeing every other month they come out with a new title for this thing. It was like the most obvious marketing gimmick, and I wish I cared, guys. I'm so sorry to be the dick about this. I do not care about the Agatha show. Did I like her in WandaVision? Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend here and sit down like I want to watch Agatha. But they've decided to name the show Agatha All Along. Haha, very clever. That'll be releasing September 18th on Disney Plus, and do not expect episode recaps on that. I'm sorry. That's gonna be a thing where I just wait till the whole show's finished, then I might review it to you guys. They also then talked a little bit about Ironheart, which was a show that was finished filming 2 years ago and is not going to release until next year. If I'll be honest, I'm more interested in Ironheart than I am in Agatha, but even then, the interest isn't all that high. We've seen behind the scene photos, and the idea of this show is supposed to be technology versus magic. It's another thing where I wish I cared a little bit more about it than I do, but yeah, Ironheart fans, you'll get the show next year, like 3-4 years after it's filmed. But to show you guys how much of a basic bee I am, they did end it with a bang and showed off some Daredevil stuff. And oh man, they brought out this sweet new sexy red logo. Oh my god! You know, Marvel's been accused lately of downgrading their logos from when they first get announced to their final product, specifically like with the Thunderbolts logo. What a terrible downgrade of a logo. But the Daredevil logo has only gotten better since its announcement. I love this new look in the city skyline. And well, they just brought on Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, kind of hyping up the show, saying it'll finally release March 2025. The first season will be 9 episodes long. Now, if you remember, when they first announced Daredevil Born Again, they promised us 18 episodes. Well, it looks like they were being a little sneaky with us, and those 18 episodes announcement meant for 2 seasons. So for those of you wondering, why is it only 9 episodes? They said it would be 18. They just didn't tell us that would be with 2 seasons of the show. Other than that, they did reveal some footage to attendees that did not get released online, but we do have a brief description here that says the first trailer for Daredevil Born Again includes bloody action sequences with Matt saying the whole system is against you. It's often David versus Goliath. Murdoch is asked, "What kind of lawyer are you?" and replies, "A really good one," as he puts on a broken pair of his glasses. And yeah, I could not be more hyped for Daredevil Born Again. I feel like it's the only Disney Plus show I'm genuinely wanting to see. I'm trying to think of any more upcoming that they have in their slate, and no, it's just like Daredevil Born Again, unless you announce another Punisher show. But everything I've seen behind the scenes and how they're going mature and continuing off what the Netflix show did, please let this be good. But that was really it for the Disney presentation and announcements. It wasn't really that big of a reveal. That brings us now to Warner Brothers, that had even less stuff. Really, the only big things they revealed to us is, for one, our first look at The Last of Us Season 2, giving off a look at Pedro Pascal as Joel and Ellie. Yeah, you can see they've aged up Joel, and if you know anything about the second part of this show, I'm not ready, dude. I'm just not ready at all. I'm thinking it's gonna turn out great, but I'm not ready for the internet discourse for this season. And then I would say their biggest reveal is finally letting us look at the first trailer for the Dune prequel series that'll be coming to Max, which is titled Dune Prophecy. This is supposed to take place 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides and give you the history of how the Bene Gesserit came to be. Honestly, without Denis Villeneuve being attached to this, my excitement level is just really not there for this. They seem to got a kind of look of the world down and a lot of familiar things thrown in there, but like, I'm going to have to wait and hear what people think of it, because this isn't something I feel like I'm going to immediately go out to watch, even though I really did like the last Dune movie. But yeah, those were the announcements made throughout the past couple of studios. Which do you were your favorite? Who do you think had the best one? Curious to hear from you guys. But that is all movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I do want to say, be subscribed to the Clips channel, because they did reveal our first look to the Terminator anime on Netflix. I didn't have enough time to talk about it here on this side flick, so I'm going to make a little video on the Clips channel there, because I feel like the details about it sound so interesting. interesting as a Terminator fan. But in that, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.